This is Drew. I'd turn on my camera, but my kids are running back and
No
forth in
worries, no
another
worries.
room. But yeah, I'm definitely here and excited for the call. So,
Awesome. No worries, man. It's the thought that counts, you know. At least you want to turn on your camera.
yeah, Sunday, yes, yeah, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. They're definitely all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alrighty. Um, oh, there you go. One more person. Let's get this started. No worries, Javon. Working on Sunday, eh? That's brutal. It's brutal, man. You got to start your own AI agency. I don't even have to work on Mondays if I don't feel like it. Anyways, let's get this started. So yeah, there's three ways that you can ask a question. It's a basic Q&A call, and then eventually, I don't really have anything to show you, so you can, gain value from asking others. Like I said, you can ask me anything. So there's three ways you can ask a question. You can either write it in the chat, you can either raise your hand, or you can just unmute. So yeah, if you want to ask a question, somebody's already speaking, it's probably best to raise your hand, not just interrupt, or type in the chat. Come on, guys, not all at once. Like, jeez. Leon
Yep,
Glover, let's hear it, man.
yep. I got one for you, Nick.
All right,
This is
who's that?
Drew. This is
Drew?
Drew.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me a
So,
second here. Leon just raised his hand right before you, so
oh,
I don't
my
know
bad.
if
No
you
worries.
want.
Sorry, Leon.
No
My
worries.
bad.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah, no worries.
How's it going, Leon?
um, hey Nick, hey everyone. I'm just wondering about the like the build and release model
Hmm.
that you talk about in the material. And I get the point that you made about it being kind of less of a pain in the ass model. um, but does it not end up being kind of like more work overall because you've got to keep replacing like all of those clients, right? If you build the AI and then hand it over to them, you've you've then got to keep getting new clients to get the revenue because you don't have the MRR.
Hmm.
Or like how have you found it?
Yeah, so build and release model, the reason why it's introduced in the first place inside the community is because most people are either starting out from scratch, so they have zero clients, or they have one or two. And essentially, when you have one or two clients or zero, your number one priority isn't to, sign 10 clients in order to get to 10K a month recurring. Like that's a lot of work. You have to sign 10 clients. You have to consistently keep those clients on a recurring basis. So number one priority when you're starting out and you haven't discovered your offer and you're not sure if you're going to be able to fulfill and keep every single client happy, you want as much cash flow and money upfront as possible. Because not only is a business that's, already been going for 2 to 3 years very difficult to keep churn rate on a retainer like 1K a month, 2K a month, 3K a month over a 6 month churn. So I'm saying 6 months because we're charging 7K upfront minimum for the offer. So the only time it would make sense is if you can guarantee charging a retainer that uh, the churn rate for that client would make you more money than if you were to charge it up front. So that's one of the reasons. Confidence in your offer, and building as much cash flow up front is the second reason. Because in order to get the same amount of money, sure, there's a risk of the client churning before you make the return. But as you said, wouldn't it just be kind of chasing after clients? In the beginning, honestly, that's okay. The main reason is because in order to get the same amount of money in 4 months, you can get it upfront. And in the beginning, it's honestly pretty crucial. Um, just for ad spend, for scaling the business, for hiring talent. you want as much upfront as possible. So build and release is a good thing to start with. Like we still do build and release. The difference is there's ascensions. So you have ascensions and upsells. So once they become a client and they're happy, and I'll tell you right now, our first 2 to 3 clients were not happy. That's just how it is. But once you've mastered fulfillment and your clients are happy on build and release offers, they will take upsells, right? If they're a high quality client. So like a good ascension that we have is clients, especially bigger ones who don't want to touch the AI agent, they don't want to maintain it, they don't want to whatever. We charge the build, right? Which is 7, 8, 9K. If they have 2 agents, it's usually like 10. And then if they don't want to maintain or make the changes or ever have to look at the agent, we just charge a 1K a month retainer. And usually clients who end up relying on the AI and it outperforms their human setters, I would say like we have a 75% ascension rate on the retainer for support and maintenance. So, you get both upfront cash and a monthly retainer. But that's once you've crushed fulfillment. So like I'm not going to say everyone is going to or especially not a 75% ascension rate is not going to, on your first couple of clients, it's not going to happen. Maybe if you're very good. But yeah. All right, I see Robert here, and then I'll let Drew go. Sorry, Drew. I know it's a question in the chat, so it's easier to answer. What are the best niches? What are the best niches or niches for implementing AI solutions in their business, small/mid businesses? So I always like to say this, Robert, because I don't think it's necessarily the size of the business. Sure, the more money they have, the more money the business is making, the more money they have to spend. But the best businesses to go after is the more volume of calls that business is doing, and the more they rely on calls, the better and easier you'll be able to close them. And the best way to do that is inside of the community in the classroom section under sales and closing. We have something that's called the ROI calculator. So it's basically a calculator that can calculate the before and after of what their business journey and what the changes with the AI by, just let's say increasing the volume of calls to 2 times the output because maybe they didn't have the manpower to do it before. It's already in the community, Sky Robinson. So it's under the sales and closing module of the last thing in sales and closing. It's called the ROI calculator. And you're basically able to, so it does all the calculations for you. You just implement the numbers. You know what? I'll just pull this up right now. Give me a sec. Okay. So right here, you have your dials made per month, pickup rate, booking rate, show rate, close rate, client value. So basically what you're going to do is what we suggest to do and how we structure our sales calls is obviously this comes at the pitch. So during the discovery, you're going to find out all this information. And you're not going to tell them, you're not going to, okay, how many dials do you make per month? What's your pickup rate? What's your booking rate? You kind of mix it in with the other questions, almost hide it, the fact that you're finding this info. So you gather this information, you plug it in. So let's say the business owner is doing 2,000 calls per month. They have a 5% pickup rate. They have a 35% booking rate. Let's say 70% show rate and a 15% close rate. All right, these are just numbers I pulled out of my ass, obviously, and then a $5,000 client value. So based on these numbers, the business should be doing about $18,375 just based on call output. So not referrals, not word of mouth, nothing else, not organic. So with these numbers, let's say we are to, so let's copy everything, 2,535, 2,535, 7015. Okay. So with these numbers, the first thing I could take a look at that I'm almost guaranteeing the AI will be able to do is the pickup rate. So 5% pickup rate, obviously this could be one of two reasons. The primary reason most likely is speed to lead, and the second could be quality of leads that we're calling. So it could be an old list, could be dead leads, whatever. But if I'm gonna just say, okay, if we increase the follow-up to, for example, let's follow up with leads instead of 2 to 3 times, let's follow up with 10 times. And as soon as they come through, let's call them within 2 minutes of them opting in. Okay, if they've opted in, or if we're calling an old list. So let's just double pickup rate. Okay, so right off the bat, now that's a conservative bump. If the AI is calling people within a minute and the leads are, you have a VA or 2 VAs on the phone and a lead comes through, obviously you can't call. So speed to lead is the most important thing. If you want, you can do your research. I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's after 5 minutes, you're 95% less likely to have the lead pick up the phone. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but it's something crazy like that, or it's like 400% more likely to get the lead to pick up the phone within the first 5 minutes, something like that. So 10% right there. We just increased follow-ups. We're not even calling more leads. We just increased follow-ups and we're calling lead right away. We've doubled cash flow. Okay. Now let's say, okay, now that we have more cash coming through for the business, we can buy more leads or we can spend more on ads. Let's double dials. There you go. We've already quadrupled the business revenue in conservative numbers, in my opinion. I mean, if you have a certain amount of VAs that you're working for, paying a salary plus commission, they can't call more than 200 people a day. That's just how it is. It's human. It's how it is. Unless you double your manpower, it's not going to be possible. So with the AI, we can instantly double, quadruple, even 10 times, and we've quadrupled the cash flow. So as you can see, that is why it's super important to go after people and businesses who rely on calls, because if they have the numbers, it just if you show the before and after where you're quadrupling their revenue just by increasing follow-ups, it's kind of you're gonna make them feel stupid for saying no if you charge them at 10 grand and you're making them 60K extra per month. Now, obviously, there has to be more leads for them to dial. Like if they're limited to a certain amount of leads, there has to be more for them to dial. So these are conservative numbers. Like I can't guarantee it, but that's the best thing you're gonna get, right, in terms of perceived value and showing an ROI. So yeah, you can go ahead now, Drew. Sorry about that. Haven't forgotten about you. And
No, you're good, buddy. You're good. You're good. I just didn't want to type it out. So I do currently have my own small agency in regards to mostly email marketing and copywriting. So in this particular instance, right? In this particular instance, what I try to target businesses, because I know that we're trying to do this off of reliance on calls, right? That way we can, expedite their call process, which, in turn, give them more revenue in the long run. So once this has already been implemented, right, do we still want to try to kind of pick on agencies, businesses that also rely on email as well and try to use that as an upsell and just continue on from there, right? So you could do that because also with SEO and kind of the whole nine. But if you're targeting mid businesses that could make, 125 grand a month, whatever the case is, for, just throwing a random number out there, they might have their SEOs in check, but those are services that we can also incorporate over time, correct?
Yeah, so I honestly think that's the upfront the better way to go, because you're going to be standing out. Let's say, for example, you sell the AI agent alone to a broad targeting. You're competing with thousands of people. Like at this point, it's not like last year, beginning of January, where Jax and I were the very first to run that demo creative on Facebook ads, and we're getting a $2 cost per book call. Like we're not in those times again. There's a bunch of AI softwares out there. There's a lot of people you're competing with. Sure, depending on the software that you're using, you might beat them with quality, as well as fulfillment. If you have, if you've done your fulfillment well, But I think like upfront, straight, going up front, especially if you're targeting a niche, just starting your offer with, okay, not only am I going to do email marketing for you, but also after I've generated you leads with email marketing, I'm going to have an AI call them. So we're going to collect their numbers and whatever, or we'll do a combination of the two. I think that's honestly a better way to go at it. You sell each separately, you offer both, and then you do a conjoined package for like a discounted price. So for example, like I don't know if you said email marketing, so I'm just gonna go with it. Let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
email
yeah.
marketing or SEO for 7 grand. You charge it up front, and then let's say 7 grand for the AI agent, or you can get the two for 10. Something like that. I would do that, and then if they start with one, no problem. Eventually you can upsell and ascend them, as they become a client and maybe gain more trust.
Right.
Or maybe they don't have the budget to pay the extra three, and then after you make them money, they can afford it.
Yeah, because I usually charge about 25 for my for copywriting in regards to the email marketing as well, and just send them out and writing out anywhere between 10 to 15 emails for a couple clients a month. And then yeah, so and then when I discovered this, I'm like, this is awesome because it's going to be another way to kind of implement that up front, and then I can kind of bounce back between whatever need that they're going to have at the particular time. Because if you're just
For
kind of
sure.
throwing AI at them at first, they might be confused. But if you can throw in the email side and then picking up their numbers, which is fantastic, create the list, and then on top of the email blast, then you can do a follow up within 48. That's actually fantastic. Thank you, Nick.
For sure. Yeah, no worries. It's one of the thing one of the things that I say a lot is a lot of businesses, and I don't understand why, they're super picky on like, this is my offer, this is all that I'm gonna do. And okay, sure, I'm looking at it long term scalable. If you're a business doing 5 million a month, or 10 million a month, and you have an offer, you're not gonna go and do copywriting, you're not gonna go and run ads for them. But if you're a business that's starting out, or you're only doing 50 or 100K a month, you can be flexible. Like I'll give you an example. We had a guy on the phone. This is not relating to the AI whatever, or your situation. But we're pitching the AI, right? And he was like, "Hey, listen, man, I don't really need this right now, but I took a look at your guys' school community, and I honestly kind of want like exactly what you guys have. Can you do that for me?" And we offered him a 15K done for you, where we build out his school community entirely. We build out the nurturing funnels for his business. So he wanted to bring all of his clients into the community, nurture them, give them free value.
Right.
And I can't remember. I think it was a combination of HVAC guys. I'm not 100% sure. And we charged him 15K because we were flexible. So, I didn't even fulfill. We got some guy off Upwork. Um, well, now he works inside the business. We pay him a salary, but we pay the guy 1K. We made 15K, 14K profit for building out his school funnel, just because we're flexible. So yeah, I think a lot of times you can be flexible. If somebody needs ads, and go and learn ads if they need it. If you
Yeah,
have
a
them on
lot
the
of
phone.
those. Yeah, a lot of those are been covered at least on my end, so I have that. But just because there have been instances too, and that's why I'm trying to figure out your experience, right? That you feel like you can kind of overload people with services. You know what I mean? I mean, it's always good to know.
Mhm.
Right? I always want more tools in my pocket, my bag, of course. But um, more often than not, are you just kind of like keying between one or the other? Like usually you'll just key your AI and then kind of go from there, or you're just kind of treating it from client to client.
Yeah, always the biggest thing with sales is, so a thing we like to look for all of our closers is on the Fathom, the speaking time. So I don't know if you guys have used Fathom, but it can track who has what percentage of speaking time on the call, and we always look for the client to have 80 or higher, and the
Absolutely.
closer to have 20. So before you've even pitched what you are selling, you should already know everything about this client, their biggest issues, their financial situation. You should understand everything about them. And then based on that, it wouldn't make sense for me to pitch a 10K AI if this guy has 5K in the bank, or he doesn't have any leads to call, right? It wouldn't make sense for me. So it's all in the discovery, finding out, and then based on that, I don't want to throw away $5,000 if I can make $5,000. I can help this guy out, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's what I would say. I don't think like you don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. I
Yeah.
definitely think you have to have a main offer, but be flexible. And then if you're not confident in fulfilling for whatever, you kind of changed around, then outsource it.
Yeah, I used to close this long time ago, but yeah, a lot of it was just listening. Like my 20%, as you say, was just strictly me educating,
Yep.
right? And then, I found using the word educate over sales, even though some people are like, yeah, whatever, especially on the high end side, but like give everybody the info, let them make the choice, just keep your mouth shut after that.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
Hmm.
All right,
Perfect. Thanks, Nick.
Elian, no worries, man. Elian, we'll go with you, and then we have Jonathan in the chat. I'll answer your question.
Hello, I'm just starting out in AI services and I'm still learning. I just
Sure.
wanted to make sure that I'm focusing on something that has actual demand. And in your experience, what's the most profitable AI service right now that small agencies or freelancers can sell successfully? Or do you sell like bundled offers like SEO and ads and
Yeah, so I would say right now, in my personal opinion on the AI market, there's two things that you can go to. I've seen AI ads pop up a lot, so that's one thing, or a conversational AI. And the reason why I'm more confident in saying conversational AI is because I built a business around it. I went from selling a commoditized agency service to selling AI. Um, and honestly, with no sales structure in place, sure, it was a year ago, so and it's not a huge amount of time. We did 30K in 2 weeks, with a terrible close rate. So there's definitely demand for the AI for sure. And like I said before, I'm not sure if you were on the call when I was explaining it. I think the best way to stand out is by packaging it, but also the client is always right, and you should always give the client what they want. So like I said, I think for sure there's a ton of value, and there's a high, very, very high demand in conversational AI because there's still a lot of business owners out there that don't even know. They're not aware of it. They don't even know it exists. There's a small, space and niche of people online, which is unfortunate because if you're doing paid ads, you're going to compete with other people doing paid ads. But it's definitely very high demand. So yeah, I'm not sure if that answered your question.
yeah, it did. Thank you very much.
No worries, man. Jonathan, how do you find all that info about a company? So there's a couple different ways. Now, in our sales process, we have qualification questions for the calendar. So basically, they have to fill out a certain amount of questions in order to be able to book. And then in order to be able to book, there are certain questions that have conditional logic. So for example, let's say if it's a budgeting question, like, do you have a minimum of 5K to spend with us? Because we have a payment plan where they can split it up into 5K, which is our lowest offer. If they say no, they are kicked out. So they, get kicked out. We give them some free content. We send them emails, keep them nurtured in the sequence. We send them testimonials for, maybe if they lied about not having 5K, or just to nurture them. And eventually, if they do have enough later down the line, they're being nurtured for the 5K. And inside of those questions, a good thing I say usually in the beginning is always ask for the website. You can get probably like 100 different pieces of information from a business's website. You can find their location, you can find who they work with, their clients, you can find their offer, you can find who runs the company, right, to confirm that you are speaking with the decision makers. And then also the biggest thing is discovery on the sales call. So one sec, I'm gonna mute you in here. His mic is unmuted. I can't find him though. Sorry, man. I have to mute you, my man. I can hear you watching TV in the background there. So no worries, man. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit, guys. I'm sick, a bit dizzy, so can't find my words today. Sorry about that. Okay. Any other questions from anybody? Nobody is in queue now, so you can fire away. Jonathan, I have a question for you actually. Are you running an AI agency or what are you doing?
Hey man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great, man. Yeah, so I'm actually trying to start my AI agency. I talked with your partner like a couple weeks ago, and I just didn't have the money up front, right? So I'm starting to I'm trying to start it off from scratch without having the agency and lock my first few clients before I can like have you guys help me out and like expand it. So right now I'm looking like conversational AI, so like following old leads and new leads, and like running like somebody wants to book like an appointment through Instagram or some shit. Like I'll basically I'm learning how to set up an AI to do all of that for them, and yeah. So I'm starting up. I'm hoping to get it all set up by the end of this week. So
All right.
should be great.
That's good. The biggest thing when starting out is don't overthink, don't over research.
Yeah, for sure.
Just do it.
That's what I'm
I have a
thinking.
lot of people who hop on and they're like, "Hey, how's it going, Nick? I've been learning about, conversational AI for the last 6 to 8 months." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Bro, like
way too long.
I started 12 months ago, man.
Yeah.
You could be making 100K a month by now if you'd started 8 months ago."
And it's like, bro, this is the type of thing where it's like you learn as you go,
Exactly.
You're not gonna
Yeah,
learn everything from the book. You just have to like jump in the deep end. If you fuck up, you fuck up. But at least you
exactly.
so that's what I'm trying
I
to do.
won't lie to you. Right now, I'm very good at Facebook ads, but I wasn't always. And
Yeah.
when I started out doing digital marketing, I didn't take an AI or I didn't take an ads course, or I didn't. I mean, sure, I learned the basics on
Yeah.
YouTube. Sorry, I gotta mute you 1 second
Anyways.
here. But sorry, where was I at? Yeah, I did a brief little thing on YouTube. I watched a couple YouTube videos on how to run ads.
Yeah.
But I learned how to run ads for my clients' ad money. Like I would sign on a client, and they're pretty much my guinea pigs, the first couple of clients. And sure, I didn't perform, the first couple days, but eventually, even my first clients, after like the 1 or 2 month mark, I was performing pretty well, and I just learned how to run ads from their from their money. So
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like charge on performance base as well. So like with every like appointment they get thanks to my AI, I'll like charge a fee instead of doing like a monthly. And then eventually like upfront costs like I don't know, like 10 bands or something.
yeah, I would always charge up front no matter what.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
then never go straight performance based.
Yeah.
It's just some clients will waste your time and you'll do all the setup and then they'll just let you know, hey, I'm not, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Well, there's another one where it's like hybrid based, where it's like you do ask for retainer fee up front, like an upfront fee, and
Yep,
like a one-time fee, and then after that is performance based.
yep.
Thinking
No,
about that, that could also work out.
for sure. I would recommend that. That's not a bad way to go at all. Okay. Bryson Brewer, what do you think about SMS automation as a standalone service and upsell into higher tiers of your service? Yeah, okay. So, the one thing that's kind of tough about that is if you're just charging SMS automation standalone, there's not a ton of demand and it's very commoditized. Um, Not only that, but you're going to be competing with people charging like $100 a month. That's just, it's nothing. Like I've seen people charge $500 a month and less for media buying. So SMS automation, like, yeah, it's gotta be very low ticket offer. I think standalone it's not good. Combined with something else like upfront, I think in my opinion, it would be something that would be better to pair with something else and then give it at a discounted price than to sell them on it initially and then upsell. Because in that price range, you're going to be attracting people who, even if you do provide excellent fulfillment, they're not going to make enough money to where that you can upsell them on like a high ticket 5K, 10K. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Makes sense. Thank you, Nick.
Of course, man, no worries. Elian Huxa. If you were starting an AI agency today, how would you get your first clients? Their first 5 clients. So yeah, that's pretty easy. I would pair, so I would focus after a niche. I would learn everything about that niche. I would become a master. I would understand their language. I would cold call. I would funnel hack. I would learn everything I could possibly know about that niche, and then I would sell them everything. So I would, depending on the problem that they're solving, or depending on the number one problem of that business and the problem I'm solving, I would sell 2 things combined. I would say 95% of the niches that I would personally go after, I would cover lead acquisition, so acquiring new leads with the AI agent. And I would do that because I know it best. I don't really know cold outreach best. I would do paid ads with the AI agent, and I would sell it as a package together. And I would guarantee their money back within 6 months. So if I don't make their money back, I'll guarantee them a full refund within 6 months. That's what I would do if I were to restart. Yeah, go ahead, Elian.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I
if I'm
just
pronouncing that right, by the way.
Elian. Yeah, it's
Yeah, Elian.
Eastern European name. It's difficult. I understand. I
Don't
just
worry,
wanted
I'm
to
Eastern
say,
European, so
oh, for real? Damn.
yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving all this information for free. And a bit outside of this AI industry, I wanted to ask a question. If I can't accept Stripe payments due to my country's restriction, what alternative do you think is the best to like not lose clients just because of less of a convenience that it's gonna be for?
Yeah, so I just put a link in the chat. WAP
Mhm.
processor, payment processor. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's a community-based platform. Like they have a bunch of different things in there, but I've heard their processor is super lenient on people who have issues with Stripe. Another way you can go about it is wire transfers. So you can accept wire payments. The good thing about wire payments is you pay a $20 transaction fee no matter how large the payment is, which is really good. Like for example, every time we sign a 10K client, Stripe takes $600, or it's like $400, something like that. So you have no transaction fee with that. Sorry, I have to mute. I don't know. Pete just made a weird noise. I'm scared he's gonna scream something, but sorry about that, Pete. But yeah, wire payment or WAP.
Okay.
If Stripe doesn't work for you, of
Thank you.
course, man. Hey, Nicholas, thanks for the free value, for the value you provide for free. No worries, my man. Question: how would you implement an AI appointment setter on Instagram for inbound leads? Maybe using both ManyChat and GHL AI booking bot. So, yeah, for Instagram, it's tough. Are you collecting their info or is this a paid ad? Because if it's paid ads, what like we do anyways, is we run paid ads and then it goes to a lead form, and then the lead form collects their phone number and the AI gets triggered to call within 5 minutes. And so yeah, I could show you.
Yeah,
And then it
Nicholas.
just, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, man. So basically, we are collecting leads, from new followers on IG, and people is sending me inbound DMs like answer
DMs.
with questions and so on. So I want to like automate with the AI booking bot on DHL.
Okay, so you want to automate so that if you receive a DM on Instagram to collect their information and then call them?
No, just have the conversation inside of the DMs inside of
Yeah, so that's all ManyChat. So
Okay.
if you want to take a look, we had an automation set up before when we would do let me pull it up here. A second. Sign in. I haven't been on here in forever, so I have to sign in. Let's see. Should be my work email. ManyChat account does not exist. That's great. Sorry, give me a second. I want to find this for you because you can go really in depth with ManyChat. Like, you don't need anyone to speak. Let's see.
So basically, you're telling me like I can use ManyChat with AI just to have the conversations with the leads, like really personalized conversations. You mean?
You don't even need AI for ManyChat. So this is all within Instagram DMs. I don't think there is unless you have an advanced chat bot, which it's different to ManyChat. Then you could speak to the person on Instagram with an AI chatbot. But honestly, sorry, I just want to find this for you. In my opinion, you don't even need you don't need the chatbot. ManyChat automations alone work really well. My mentor, Ravi Abuvala, I don't know if anyone's heard of that or heard of him. Abuvala, I'll put it in the chat for you guys who want to search him up. He runs ManyChat automations for inbound DMs, and I'm pretty sure he told me there was a team of 5 setters he replaced with one ManyChat automation. So, as you can imagine, it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nicolas.
Sorry, I cannot find this. I cannot find the login to my ManyChat. I wanted to show you because it was so in depth. So I apologize, my man. But yeah, it is what it is. Of course, anytime. Okay, well, a lot of people in here, 21. Any questions from anyone? Have a lot of new faces I haven't seen.
Yo, Nick. So I just
Yeah, how's
wanted
it
to.
going, man?
Can you hear me, bro?
I can. You're a bit
Okay,
laggy,
I
but it's
apologize.
okay.
My Mac is lagging out on me.
No worries, man.
But
I
I
can
just
hear
wanted
you
to
crystal
clarify
clear.
on the SMS automation question that I asked earlier.
Yeah.
So I had seen online people are, charging nothing up front and going for the straight performance base with SMS automation and going for like 30 to 50% profits to like profit split with whatever business they're doing the text message automation with. Obviously, you can charge like an upfront fee as well if you want to. And so that was kind of more because it's more like database lead reactivation instead of so like you're taking leads that they already have in their database and trying to convert those ones to sales for the client. And then I was thinking you can upsell from there. And so like with that background context, since it's like more taking leads that, for example, I sell insurance as well. So like if an insurance agent had a whole bunch of leads or, a med spa clinic, they have a whole bunch of leads, you try and convert those leads into sales for them. And then you try and ascend them into, your higher form, business, like if you have AI agents that you can build out and all that type of stuff. So I was just
Mhm.
curious on what your thought was on something like that.
So for the SMS automation, what is the CTA? Like where are the leads going?
And so the leads are just going through a pipeline. They're just continue to bump them. Like you're going to
Okay.
continue to bump messages to. So it could be, for example, I set it up for like my insurance. It's like, hey, you guys get a no cost legal will. Are you still interested in the no cost legal will? If they don't answer, they're going to get a series of bump messages to try and get them to answer so that they can move to the other pipeline. And then if they do answer, then it's like, yes, okay, we try and qualify them to make sure they're actually qualified for any insurance. Like, of course, they're going to get the will either way. But if they're
Mhm.
qualified for insurance, we just try and get them on a call so that the basically the SMS, the whole point of the SMS is to book a call.
Okay.
And then you like, uh-huh.
So what I would do, in my personal opinion, I would probably need to know more about the industry and how it works. But just from what I've seen in terms of conversion rates from SMS and calling, it's significantly higher for calling. It also depends on the qualification, because if there's not a lot of qualification required for the lead, then sure, an SMS would probably be quicker. But in my opinion, what I would do is if that's what you say it is, I would even test running SMS automation that isn't sending the lead to a book call through the pipeline, but instead SMS automation to get the lead to pick up the phone the next time the AI calls, and then get the AI to book. In my opinion, switching that from a ton of friction where the lead has to click on the funnel, has to go through the process. Maybe there's a VSL. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about the industry, but I found a lot of times if you're supplementing, and you're reactivating leads, it's better to get them on the phone, because they're like, who is this? What is this number? What do they want from me? Sometimes it takes a week for them to respond, and then you need a follow-up sequence. Um, so I think that would be something good to test, and then you could pair that with the SMS automation and Ascend. But yeah, if you're taking like performance based 30 to 50%, so that's like a growth operator commission for like reactivated leads, pretty much, right? Is that
Yeah.
that's only on the old leads you're reactivating, right?
Yes, that's
And then
correct.
do you charge?
What was that?
Yeah, do you charge up front?
You can. I haven't even implemented this yet. So I'm
Okay.
still, yeah, I haven't implemented anything like that.
Yeah,
As of
so
yet.
that's the risky thing. I don't know what your cost margins are on an SMS automation, but like for the AI, there's a usage basis and there's the setup and whatever. And if you're not confident on performance basis, I'm just worried you're gonna do all this work for nothing. Um, but I think from what you've told me, I think a good way to go about it is do what you've been doing and then send them try out the CTA to actually be like, hey, pick up the phone. One of our agents will speak to you. And then you can obviously pitch that to the business and let them know, like, hey, just based looking on data, I know, I don't know off the top of my head, but conversion rates over the phone are higher than SMS for sure. So,
Man, I appreciate it, Nick. And then my last question was more about your gold membership. It's
hmm
it's 1,500 for yearly.
yeah, or you can pay monthly. I'm not really sure what it is monthly.
I think it's
247.
I was just curious. That gives you access to that site AI platform to where we can work with you guys directly.
Exactly. So gold is not. So you have 3 calls per week with us. You have one. Let me check. Let me see. 1 second. You have one with me, one with Jax, who is my business partner, and then you have a tech or platform call with our solutions engineer. And I would say most of the people who are joining the gold community, especially on the yearly, are joining because of the software. So what happens is when you're in gold, as long as you're in gold, you have access to our platform, which means if you pay for yearly, you're paying $1,500 for access to a platform for a year, which is like the equivalent, if you go to Synflow, it's like $1,000 a month for what you're paying, which is yeah. So that yeah, that's is that I forgot what your question was in the beginning.
No, it was just I'm looking to honestly use Insight, man. You guys have a lot of good stuff you guys are doing, bro. So I appreciate you and everything that you're providing, bro. Keep going.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about that, let me know in school and I can help.
Most definitely. I appreciate it.
All right, man. No worries. Let's see, Elian, in your experience, what skills or milestones should I hit before I'd be ready to partner with your team? It really depends, man. I would say anyone with the mindset to work, like if you were gonna put in the work, that's the minimum requirement. I've had people with zero business experience, zero skills, they haven't even worked a job before, and they're 17 years old, closing 30K in like the first couple of weeks. Um, and I've had people who are experienced and succeed as well, of course. But I would say the biggest requirement is just like no matter if you fail, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times, to keep going and put in the work. That's the minimum skill that you need. Persistence. You don't need to hit any milestones. So Sky Robinson, I will say I've loved gold so far. Amazing, Sky. Yeah, Sky's in gold. I love to hear it.
Let me make a claim here by saying this is probably.
How's it going, Casper? I see you're playing some reels for us, so I'll unmute you.
Yes. So I have a question. Sorry for that for the video.
No worries.
You were talking about the guarantee, and like my question is, what is the good offer, like good promise to a client? For example, some people say, I will give you 10 high-ticket clients in 90 days, or we refund you. So when I sell AI conversational agent,
yeah, don't do
what
any
should be
guarantee
the-
like that. Don't do like a client close guarantee. So what I would do for especially the AI is it's called a conditional guarantee. So what you're doing is you're guaranteeing based on statistics, things that can be tracked. For example, what you don't want to do for a conditional guarantee is guarantee that you'll be happy, right? I guarantee you'll be happy with the AI. How do you measure happiness? Like the client could say he's unhappy if the AI is, making him 10 million a month and he doesn't pay you, right? And then you have to pay him back. So always make the so before you're doing the conditions, always make the first guarantee statistic. So we'll increase your booking rate by 10%. We will, I guarantee we'll increase the follow-up by 10%. I'll guarantee we'll increase cash and revenue in by 5%. And then a condition for that would be we at least minimum have to be calling the same amount of leads that we were calling before. So obviously you'd get the number, and you'd obviously need proof. This is why it's a little bit, messy, but it'll bring in your first, if you have no proof of concept, it'll bring in obviously not the best quality clients. It is the first 5, and then that's the quickest way to do it. So you'll have PITA clients, which is pain in the ass clients. It is what it is. And then you just got to ensure the conditions are solid and that you have the before and after. So you know that they've been doing 2,000 dials per month, and at minimum, in order to qualify for this guarantee, we need to be doing 2,000 dials per month or have 2,000 leads to dial per month. So that would be an example of a conditional guarantee, because it's statistics, it's data. It's not a guarantee to where the client could say, I'm unhappy with the agent, but what does happiness mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you cannot give like a happiness guarantee, because like
exactly,
I will always say I'm not happy, give me my money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we like give some some guarantee that we can check, like for example 10 clients, yeah, or like 100 appointments, yeah, like something that is a fact, yeah.
Hmm.
So you said
Sorry.
like 10% more appointments, so they need to tell us how many appointments they have like
Exactly.
the
And
the month before.
yeah, and then you stipulating conditions. And then if they don't track, that's great for you because they can't qualify for the guarantee. You know what I mean? If they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
track their metrics, it's too bad for them. You know what I mean? If the business isn't tracking metrics like that, you probably don't want to work with them. Like I'm not even kidding. Even starting out, it's probably not worth it. So if a business isn't tracking, if something goes wrong, they could blame it on you, but they're not tracking, so you have no idea. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, that's why I also suggest starting out, get early and get into the habit of just tracking everything you do. It's also good for SOPs. So if you don't know what SOP is, standard operating procedure for training clients. So everything that I do that's new, usually, I just turn on my Loom. It's called the camcorder method by Dan Martell. I don't know if you guys know who that is. You just record you doing it, and then if I forget or something goes wrong, I can go back and I have this tracked of me doing it live. Sorry, Jonathan, I'm just gonna answer this question first in the chat. Before the two that were before you, and then I'll. Okay, so first question here. Hey, when can I book a call with everyone? Lol. I don't understand that. What do you mean with everyone? Sky. Yeah, happiness is fleeting. Elian, where would you? Yeah, if you could just help me with that, Sky. I don't understand your question. Oh. Um. Oh no. So every week we have the call. So if you go to calendar and gold, and then you'll be able to see, and you have the Zoom link that you can join. Yeah. Perfect. Where would you learn cold calling / closing if you're just starting out? Honestly, bro, so I'll tell you a quick story. I'll summarize it, but it's a better example to tell you with what I started out with, which was window cleaning. So my first business that I started was window cleaning. I would basically, it was summer and I didn't want to work a job, and I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this guy named Josh Lester. And basically what he would do is he would go door to door and he would knock on people's doors and charge $250 for a house and then clean it in an hour. And basically I saw Josh Lester, and what I would do is I'd literally just go through all his reels, and I didn't even write out a script. I essentially had it memorized in my head. And I went to my dad and I told him I'm gonna start window cleaning. And at the time we had a family friend with us, and he told me, he's like, why would anyone answer the door to you? I would never. And I was like, I'm gonna prove these guys wrong. I went outside and knocked on 5 doors, like right next to my house. I didn't even scout the neighborhood, whatever. And uh, within 5 minutes, I came back and I had 2 houses signed for next week. I had no materials. I had no nothing. I had them scheduled for next week, $500. And I just watched some guy on Reels, and I learned how to talk to people. And then obviously, as I started to knock more and more, I increased my conversions even more. And it was out of season. I only had 3 weeks. I eventually had 6 cleaners working for me and 3 sales guys. I would just clean the supplies and then manage the schedules. And it was like 10 grand profit from after paying off the materials, the cleaners. I would pay them good, and the sales guys. So basically, where I would learn if I had to restart is just watching other people who are the best at what they do doing it. And a lot of people post cold calling videos on Instagram Reels, and I would just copy them. I don't think you need to recreate anything. Sky, I actually don't close anymore. So closing, once you eventually delegate it, it's one of the most time-consuming things of all time. So now everything is supplied. I have a solutions engineer for fulfillment. I have a closer for closing. I have a copywriter for writing copy. I manage some of the ads, so we don't have a media buyer. I honestly think media buying is something I might never delegate. I might have a creative expert. We might hire a creative expert, but yeah, I kind of work outside the business now. Yeah, Johnny Mao. He's a closer though. Johnny Mao is disgusting. He's not even popular. He's just blowing up right now recently. He has like 7K followers or something. Johnny Mao is disgusting. He is so good at closing. So yeah, he's only got 18K followers. He's just recently blowing up. But for cold calling, I know there's a lot of different people for cold calling. I'm not sure any names, but yeah, Johnny Mao is really good. No worries, man. All right, let's do Jonathan, and then technically we end here, but I can go into overtime. So it was a great call. Great questions.
Yeah, man. So basically, I was thinking about like when I get like my first clients and whatever, I'm pretty sure like I gotta present them with like a contract of some sort, you know? And like, yeah, where do I get that? Because I have no idea where to start with that. And like, what do
Yeah.
I all of that?
So we actually, all of our private clients, we have a lawyer vetted contract that we give them. In my opinion, what you can do to start out is just ChatGPT it.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Like that's what I did in the beginning. You don't need a lawyer vetted contract to start out. But yeah, eventually as you scale, we give that to you. So
And what if like, I mean, aren't they gonna like be looking for like a logo or some shit or like the name of the company, right? Like I gotta include it.
on the contract,
Yeah, especially like
you
when
don't.
starting out.
Yeah, you don't need a contract. You don't need a logo on a contract.
Oh, okay, fair. But you
But do
need,
you mean a logo as in the business?
yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Of course. I mean, yeah, don't overcomplicate the logo. Like our Insight logo here, I'll put our website in the chat.
Yeah.
It's just the Insight like text, white text and black.
Yeah, fair.
So
And so I just basically just put in like the name of like the company and then the name of who's gonna handle the shits and then his name and then just both sign, right?
yep.
Okay. Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
and depending where you live, it could be structured differently. Like obviously, so you're writing a contract to protect yourself legally and also guarantee to the client you're legitimate. So make sure you state to ChatGPT where you're from, where you live, because based on that, it'll write the contract on the laws. For example, I'm in Ontario, which is a province in Canada, so it'll write the laws based on Ontario, Canada, and then it'll structure so it'll protect you. Like if something is to go wrong, then it's in the court of Ontario. You don't want to get in trouble with a client and they want to sue you and you have to fly out to Thailand because
Fair.
you didn't state in the contract. So
So what if like the LLC is based in Delaware and I live in like Quebec and then the business is
that's
somewhere in the US. So do I write based on the laws of Delaware or do I write based on the laws of where I'm at?
wherever the business is registered.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Then. All right, that's pretty much it, man. Thanks.
no worries, man. It was my first call here. Very grateful for all the info, no BS, to the point, immense value. I very much appreciate it, Elian. I'm a developer. Is it necessary for me to build a website from scratch, or can some AI builder suffice? I hosting her, but I don't think I can build such a cool site. Nah, bro, you don't need to make it from scratch. Like even like the first 8 months of our business, we used a high level template. So yeah, you don't need a cool site. I would make your funnel. I would focus on making your funnel the best looking as possible. So we spent quite a bit of money. We pay for ClickFunnels. So yeah, I could pop our funnel in the chat if you guys want to see. But yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, if there's any other last minute questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We're a bit in overtime here, but I'm okay with that. And if not, I'll see you guys next week. We host this free call every week. So yeah, I hope you found some sort of value from the call, and I'll be sure to post the recording in the chat. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, my bad. One last question.
All good.
So if I haven't registered like the LLC yet, and it's my like first client, do I still write down the name of the LLC that I'm gonna give, or like what do I do then?
If you signed your first client
Yeah, and I don't have.
and you don't have it yet,
Yeah, exactly.
then are you a sole prop right now?
Yeah.
So you have a registered sole proprietor?
No, I haven't registered any type of business. Like I'm starting out, getting my first client, and then once I get money, I'll register.
Okay, so if you're not registered as a business, you can't put an LLC that doesn't exist.
Okay.
And then basically what that means is you'll have to sign it personally, which also means you're liable personally. So what that means is if you get in trouble, it's no longer business versus the client, it's you versus the client, which means they can go after your personal properties, your personal income, which is it's not ideal, but that's what it is.
So basically, you'd say just like probably register a business first and then start off just to be safe. Or
I mean, like I said, I'm only preparing you for the worst case scenario because I don't want you to come to me and be like, he sued me for all I'm worth, Nick. Like, screw you, screw you. You told me to put my personal name. So I'm just protecting myself by telling you what could go wrong if you sign a personal contract.
what would you do? Would you just be like, you know,
I would do it personal, and then I would just make sure ChatGPT has like when you write out the contract, it's like they cannot sue you. If something goes wrong, you give a refund and that's it.
Yeah.
And if they don't qualify for the refund, they cannot sue you. So just like make it clear, yeah.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sky Robinson, that was just an example. So we didn't sign. Wait, where do you see that? Government gov case study? I don't see that on our funnel. Oh, yeah, no, that was just an example. Is there a specific prompt engineering script you would use for that contract? I think that I don't have like something that you could plug and play because we don't use ChatGPT contract. We use a lawyer vetted one. So we actually paid a lawyer to write one up for us to protect ourselves, of course. But for ChatGPT, you just got to keep like reprompting. So you start out with something and then you say, no, do this, no, add that, no, remove this, no, add that. For ChatGPT. So yeah, there's no like one prompt. But yeah, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody for hopping on. That was a really good call. I'm gonna post the recording in the chat. Just give me a bit. I'm gonna have my copywriter cook up something for the recording, because it was a good call. And then so we can give it back to some people who weren't on here. But yeah, thank you very much for hopping on, everybody. If you're interested in finding more about Insight, you can message me on School privately, Nicholas Vasiliou, and I can answer any questions you might have. But yeah, other than that, take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, take care,
Thank you very
guys.
much. See you.
Bye, bye, bye.